Hello everybody. I am Mira and welcome to Midnight Mira's Scary Stories. The story for tonight is The Backrooms 5: The Clown King's Escape. You're here for a reason. You want to feel the fear, to experience the unknown. And by the end of this, you won't be able to look away. Ethan Reyes thought he had escaped the horrors of the Backrooms. The cursed comic book that had once dragged him into a nightmare was locked away, and Mr. Giles remained by his side. But something had changed. The curse wasn't over. I should have known it wasn't over. I wake up in an alley. The air is thick with something wrong, a scent that doesn't belong to this world. It's not blood, not rot, but something sickly sweet, like cotton candy soaked in bile. I don't remember getting here. The last thing I recall, I was in Mr. Giles' comic shop, now my safe house, staring at my reflection, trying to convince myself I was still human. My head is spinning, my mouth dry, my tongue thick with a strange metallic taste. I stand, my stomach twisting, and that's when I see it. If you like stories like this, I do spend long nights making these videos for you. Let me earn your subscription tonight and ring my bell. I will be ringing the bell also when I have new stories for you. Now, back to the story. A red balloon floats past. No string. No wind. Moving on its own. A slow, familiar laugh tickles my eardrums from the inside. My stomach lurches. Oh, no. He's still in there. It started the night I ate the Clown King. As the dogman, my hunger had been absolute. No hesitation. No doubt. I tore him apart, swallowed him whole, piece by laughing piece. I felt his bones snap between my teeth, his painted flesh squish like rotten fruit down my throat. His blood wasn't red, it was thick, neon pink, like melted bubblegum. It burned like acid, but I kept going. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Because as I licked the last drops of him off my fangs, a voice echoed inside my skull. A real gut buster, huh, Ethan? I froze. My stomach twisted. Something moved inside me. It started days later, as if something was growing in a woman's womb. At first, just a faint, teasing tickle deep in my gut. Then, it grew. A wrongness, festering beneath my ribs. My stomach churned, stretched, shifted. I felt it twist, something curling around my insides like a living thing, feeding off me. Then came the scraping. The clawing. Fingers, tiny, gloved fingers, crawling up my insides, dragging themselves toward the surface. I roared, slamming my fists into the ground, but it didn't stop. It only laughed. "Let's play a game," he giggled. "How many organs can I juggle before you pass out?" I doubled over, retching. My ribs ached. My stomach bulged. Then I felt it. It worsened. The juggling started. Squelch. My liver twisted. Pop. My kidney flipped. Yank. My intestines stretched like a balloon animal. Oops. Dropped one. I howled in agony. My claws ripped into my own stomach, desperate to pull him out, but it was too late. A white-gloved hand pushed up my throat. I choked. Gagged. My jaw stretched wider than it should. My stomach turned inside out. Then, piece by piece, the Clown King pulled himself out of me. A nightmare unfurling like a magician's scarf. His torso slithered out first, arms stretching unnaturally, pulling himself through my mouth. Then his legs, kicking free, coated in black bile. His face popped out last, grinning from ear to ear, as if he had never been eaten at all. He landed on the pavement beside me, slick with stomach fluids, and dusted himself off. Ta-da! I collapsed to my knees, shaking. The taste of him still lingered in my throat, like sour grease and cruelty. I turned to him, my eyes burning with rage. "You, how?" He smirked. "Oh, Ethan. You didn't kill me. You birthed me." He spun in a circle, arms wide. "And now, thanks to you, I can come and go as I please." The bookstore that once kept me prisoner as my first backroom was now my refuge ever since I took it back from the Clown King. But if the clown was still alive, what about the comic shop? The thought gnawed at me as I shoved the door open, the bell jingling overhead. The scent of old books and stale coffee hit me, grounding me, reminding me there were places in the world that still made sense. This was Mr. Giles' place long before I ever stepped foot in it. He had just reclaimed what was his. So many questions clawed at my mind, but right now, it was the least of my worries. I snarled, my mind sharpening with instinct. My body tensed, and I felt it, something buried deep within me, waiting. Without thinking, I focused, and my index finger stretched, elongating into a long, razor-sharp. Giles looked up from his desk, his eyes going wide. "Ethan? You look like hell." I grabbed the nearest bookshelf for support. "He's out." Giles' face darkened. "Who?" "The Clown King. He's out of me." Giles slowly shut his book. "That's not possible." "I saw it," I hissed. He climbed out of my stomach." "He's real. He's back." Giles exhaled sharply, rubbing his temples. "That means..." The air felt different, thicker, heavier. My stomach twisted with a gut-deep wrongness. And then, a sound, distant at first, like a low hum, then closer. Laughter. Not just one voice. Not just the Clown King. Many. My skin prickled as I realized the truth. He wasn't just back, he was spreading. The Clown King wasn't alone anymore. I swallowed hard. And if you think this was the worst of it, you haven't seen anything yet. The nightmares don't end here. They never do. But you already knew that, didn't you? Stick around, there's more to uncover, more to fear. My story isn't the only one waiting for you. And if you dare, you can dive even deeper. Check the playlist, find the others, and if you really want to lose yourself, the books are waiting. But be careful, some doors, once opened, never close. I was never a prisoner, I finished. I was a door. A chill settled between us. I could still feel the connection, like a parasite had dug into my soul and refused to let go. And then... a giggle. Right behind me. "Oh, Giles, yes, oh Giles," the Clown King purred, "you should know better by now." I froze. I didn't want to turn around. Didn't need to. I felt his breath on my neck. No one else in the store reacted. No one saw him. No one heard him. He was inside me and outside me at the same time. I turned, slowly. The Clown King leaned against a bookshelf, picking at his nails, as real as anything else in the room. He gave me a wink. Claw. The dogman inside me was still there. I swung, aiming straight for the clown's throat. My claw sailed through empty air. Giles cursed under his breath. "Ethan, stop. He's not fully here yet." I clenched my fists, chest heaving. The clown just smiled wider. "You're catching on, partner. Now, let's talk about that carnival we're gonna build." My blood turned to ice. Carnival? Oh yeah, he cooed. A real one this time. No backrooms, no fake dimensions, just pure, beautiful, nightmare-fueled reality. I shook my head. No. You can't do this. But deep down, I already knew the truth. The carnival wasn't coming. It was growing. It was already here. I could feel it, pulsing beneath the city, beneath my skin. It was forming through me, like an architect's blueprint imprinted in my mind. Every thought, every dream, every subconscious flicker of imagination, he was twisting them, shaping them into something new. Every night, when I closed my eyes, I built it. My hands, my mind unwilling, but not in control. Tents rose like bone from the earth. Ferris wheels of teeth creaked in the distance. A funhouse of mirrors that didn't reflect you, but showed what was coming. And every morning, it was a little more real. Then, the Clown King made his next move. My body convulsed, my stomach lurching as if something inside me had uncoiled. I gagged, doubling over, my throat stretching wider than it should. My ribs cracked, my jaw dislocated, and with a sickening squelch, he pushed his way back out. But this time, he didn't come alone. Bags. And bags. Of money. Stacks of bills and rolling coins spilled onto the floor in an impossible flood, the air bursting with the sound of creepy carnival music. Firecrackers popped in the background, confetti rained down in slow motion, and fireworks crackled in the ceiling like they had erupted from nowhere. The Clown King stepped forward, wiping bile from his sleeve as he grinned at the mountain of cash. Well. You know what they say, Ethan, no carnival can run without funding. He winked, flipping a gold coin in the air before catching it between his teeth. Nothing in this world is free, kid. If we're gonna build the greatest show on earth, we need a little startup capital. He kicked a pile of money toward me. The coins clinked as they hit my foot, the scent of copper and something sweeter, something rotten, filling my nose. I stared at the cash, then back at him. The Clown King grinned wider, spreading his arms as if presenting a grand prize. The money? Oh, Ethan, where else would it come from? Pepe and Ripple, of course. Both my bulls are running wild right now. Haven't you heard of crypto? He cackled, snapping his fingers as another burst of confetti rained down, carnival music blaring from nowhere, fireworks crackling like applause in the ceiling. Big dreams need big funding, he added with a smirk. And lucky for me, I know exactly where to invest. My blood ran cold. Where had it all come from? Every shadow seemed deeper, stretching longer. People outside the shop laughed a little too loud, their smiles a little too wide. Posters for a carnival that never existed flickered under the streetlights, appearing and vanishing like a trick of the eye. I hadn't just opened a door for him. I had let something much worse inside. He laughed. Meanwhile, Giles was racing against time. I saw it in the way he pored over ancient books, his fingers smudged with ink, his eyes hollow from sleepless nights. He muttered incantations, flipped through forgotten pages of eldritch horror, searching for something, anything, to stop this before it fully took root. I never asked him what he found, but I knew he was onto something. The problem was, so did the Clown King. Oh, yes. I swallowed hard. It wasn't over. It was never over. That's it for this episode. Thanks for coming. Come back for some more stories, guys. Kind regards to you. Are you brave enough to step into the pages of the unknown? Hit that like button if you love spine-chilling horror, subscribe if you want more terrifying tales, and comment below, would you take the comic book or risk the clown's wrath? And please ring the bell for notifications, I will ring the bell also for you. And if you love horror that keeps you up at night, check out my books on Amazon, available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. All from Mr. Lights Out, the master horror fantasy author from the Philippines, an expat and vet. Writing books and making videos is his self-cure for minor PTSD. The nightmares don't have to end here, but once you start reading, will you be able to stop? The link is in the description below. Thanks to Lara's horror sound on YouTube. But beware, some tales will not stay on their pages. Dare to read. The Arya the Aswang Slayer series, where creatures of the night are real, and they are hungry. The Curse of the Manananggal, a tale that seeps into your mind and lingers. The stories are waiting. The shadows are watching. Thanks for watching, horror fans. Stay out of the backrooms, and whatever you do, don't stop reading.